Welcome
What's up?
back. What's going on,
Howdy.
Chris?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. So, hey, Time Freedom Watchers, this is Time Freedom Daily. It's your time for your dose of knowledge. And today we've got a special guest. One of our good friends and business partners, Mr. Gary Simmonds, is going to be on here to share his journey and what it takes to find financial freedom and time freedom and the nicks and cuts it took along the way. And I'm really excited to hear his story. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's been an awesome mentor to us both, and we're gonna try and do this every Friday. We're gonna try and find just people that have either inspired us or that we know that might spark a thought and somebody out there. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Gary is a mogul in network marketing. I love every time I've had him on and talking to my team, and he was your sponsor. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I can
Forever
only
grateful
imagine.
for the lessons and being able to link arms with him. I learned a lot and really really grateful and honored to be on that journey with him. So
Yeah,
why
for
don't we
sure.
bring him up?
Absolutely. Let me bring his screen up, and we'll call him up.
There he is. What's up, Gary?
I'm here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. We're glad to have you. And we're just gonna kind of ask you a few questions. I know you always kind of shoot from the hip to keep it raw, and you let people know what it took, and you're not afraid to share the mistakes, the failures, and all that stuff, man.
Absolutely.
That's all what brought us to where we're at today in our journey,
Is
and
your
just
screen on,
excited to.
Gary?
What's that?
Is your screen on? You're just static for me.
I see him. I
Is he
see him
Okay.
moving?
perfectly.
Is he
Yeah,
moving for
It
you?
might be. It might be your Wi-Fi connection.
yeah, I see him
Could be.
perfectly.
Could be. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, if something happens where I don't see him, I'll let you know, Chris. But he's coming clear for me, so hopefully
Not
that's
perfect.
what's happening on the stream. So I'm just going to start out real quick. Just briefly tell us a little bit about you. What kind of brought you here? Just give us a little intro summary that you're on an elevator and you're telling somebody on going up to the 20th floor what you got inside of you and what brought you here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks again, you guys, for having me on, and you all both are definitely an inspiration to me as well.
Uh,
We all know that iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, none of us have it all figured out. We're just a bunch of failures that didn't stop.
hmm
At the end of
Yeah.
the day, and
Absolutely.
I think I saw you requote something on Facebook a few days ago, John. A very famous saying that says success is really moving from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. You have to have a reason to not lose enthusiasm.
Yes.
So I'm a Jamaican born guy. My parents came to this country when I was about 10 years old. Um, maybe 38 years ago, 39 years ago. I've been here for a while. But my mom really wanted a better life. She had a reason to make those sacrifices. She left us for a couple of years in
hmm
Jamaica and came to the US, cleaned toilets, took the bus to work, didn't have a lot of options, but just to save whatever money, every penny she could make. And her job was to get those kids out of Jamaica. There's a lot of political conflict at the time there, and she didn't want us to be a part of that. She wanted to give us an opportunity here in the USA, and I would say she probably was kind of desperate to do what she did, leaving her kids all behind, but it was necessary. And for me, that left a mark on me. It made me really want to take care of her. Those of you that know my history in building business, I share this story quite a bit because
hmm
it's the truth. You have to have a reason as to why you're willing to pursue anything if you're going to stay pursuing it long term. So that's just the gist of what's in my head as far as what
Right.
made me want to kind of pursue better options for my life and my family.
Absolutely. Chris, why don't you take on the next question for us?
Yeah. Actually, you just had me thinking about the next question. So, I know a little bit about your backstory, but at what point did you decide, like, what was the turning point that made you say, like, enough with this old life? And you had to become an entrepreneur, whether it was in network marketing or you had I think a computer store. Like, what was it that made you say, like, enough with this?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I never understood what a business was. You know, which is weird because my dad ran his own small business as a mason and construction guy. Kind of did his own thing, and I used to go with him, but he didn't teach me. Loved the guy, but I didn't understand the ins and outs of running a business or finances, really at anything like that. It was until I was in the military. I was in the army. I went into the army to learn how to become a medical professional, so I could become a doctor. Because my mom said, if you make good money as a doctor, you could help me retire early. And that was my
Not
drive
wrong.
and passion. I hated to see her work two jobs. I hated it. And I don't like to use the word hate that much because it's such a strong word, but it kind of takes that type of strength when you're describing desperation. People change what they hate. That's the bottom
Mhm.
line. When people aren't moving fast enough about what you might expect them to move on, don't judge them. When people are passionate about changing something, you can't stop them. So I chose to do that because I wanted to, like I said, maybe make an opportunity for her. Medical field was very attractive. The military told me if I
Mhm.
spent so many years doing that line of medical work, I can go to medical school and become a doctor. And that was the plan. And it's a great plan. I worked around a lot of really wonderful people. I had a great career in the military, almost 8 years. Don't regret it. Would do it all over again. Hoorah! Black horse. Okay. But when I was at my last duty station in Alabama, Fort Rucker, and a gentleman that I worked with, a sergeant that I used to actually report to, he asked me one day, had I ever heard of network marketing before or being an entrepreneur? And I'm like,
Mhm.
what's that? At
Mhm.
24, guys, not a clue what that was. I had been an
No.
entrepreneur my whole life. I used to pull a lawnmower from yard to yard, cutting grass for $10. When I was 12, 13, 14, I did all that. I
Mhm.
just didn't understand what was available long term if I had a business of my own or if I became a part of an opportunity that would allow me to be entrepreneurial on my own terms eventually. So I was intrigued. And what intrigued me is, he said that not only can you make a lot of money, maybe it was a pie in the sky, the
Mhm.
hypey, hopey, dreamy stuff, but I believed it. You see, that's the thing about dreams. Everybody has a choice whether they want to believe their dream or not.
Yeah.
I think we all have some type of dream, but do we take responsibility for it? Do we own up to it? Do we choose to pursue? And the light bulb went off in me. That was that moment because he helped me to understand that there was this thing called residual income that I could not only earn a lot of money, but I could have a lot of playtime, free time.
Mhm.
My time, guess what I did? I literally canceled my scholarship to medical school, full ride to be an MD. And there's nothing wrong with being an MD. I just know a lot of them didn't have a lot of time to go on those fancy vacations with their wife and kids,
Yeah.
you know. So maybe the pool boy was having a great time in that situation.
Yeah.
Didn't want that to be me. Okay.
Right, right.
So I canceled my medical scholarship. I gave it back to the military respectfully. I got an
Mhm.
honorable discharge, and I decided I was going to cut my teeth on, network marketing or entrepreneurism or whatever it is. The thought of freedom, especially time freedom, was extremely attractive to me, and I didn't understand it, but my spirit took hold to it.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you have I had a question already lined up, and right when you ended that, I have like another question that I had here on another piece of paper. I'm like, you know what? The question I was going to ask you was, what's your morning routine like? And I'm like, I don't know if that guy's got a morning routine. I think he might be sleeping in because of time freedom.
True,
So
true.
we know what that morning routine may look like. But more importantly, what my other question was, tell me about, was there a fear of leaving that security of what you had coming forward with, after you doing your schooling and potentially becoming a doctor? Was there a fear? Were you scared to do what you did? And how did you overcome that?
I can't say no to that because fear is a
Mhm.
real human emotion.
Sure.
I just didn't take it in. Maybe I was just too young and ambitious at the time, and I didn't have as much to risk as maybe someone who's been in their career for 20, 30 years, with a bunch of kids and family members to support.
Mhm.
Maybe it was because I was still young and had the opportunity to pursue. Everybody's at a different place in different
Right.
times in their life. So it didn't bother me. I mean, I was in Iraq for crying out loud, for months. I've been in the field in the artillery units. I was on the ground with the gunnies, and those folk. Being faced by fear every day is just something you get used to.
Right.
So we learn to become decision makers as soldiers, and it doesn't mean that we don't feel the fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. Okay, courage is staring fear right in the face and doing what you got to do anyway. And
Yes. Amen.
because the reason to do this was so big for me at that age, I needed to do something, like I said, mostly to get my mom free. I
Mhm.
looked the fear right in the face and, sucked it up and just drove on. It is what it is. Let's just get it done.
Right. Love it.
That's
Great
the
answer.
way
Thanks.
I was gonna kind of go with that same question that John had. You didn't have fear, but a lot of the people we talked to, and I was telling John yesterday, I got my hair cut, and I was talking about to my barber, who's still a barber, awesome guy. He doesn't want to be a barber forever, but there is that fear. So a lot of the people we talk to do have fear. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to somebody like that?
I won't disagree with you, but I
All right.
take a very different position on fear.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's fear because we all heard the saying, fear is false evidence appearing real.
Sure.
And what's the false evidence? It's somebody thinking too much that, hey, I can't do this or it's too much for me to do. Fear, I want you to write this down if you're listening because these guys
I
do
love
a
this.
great channel and I know y'all are going to be playing this back in the future, right? You got to write this down. Fear isn't really real. I mean, touch it.
Mhm. Yep.
Does it have a physical construct? It
No.
only exists in the construct of our mind,
Hmm.
right? So I honestly believe in a very non-biased way because people are very powerful. We're very powerful beings when we decide to be, when we need to be,
Yeah.
when we're desperate enough. And I like using the word desperation because that's
Yeah.
really, to me, the key to success. All of us are lazy when we don't have to be doing anything.
Get
But
off the couch.
yeah, when you're really, really, really desperate for a change, you hate your current situation, you're gonna move.
Hmm.
Most people, when they settle, maybe they settle on a new land or a farm, and they got the fences up. When the wolves aren't climbing the shelf, eating the babies and the sheep, everybody's fine. But when
Yep.
the wolves are coming over that fence, you got to move. If you
Yeah.
can't fight them off, you got to move to a different place. People don't like to move; it's inconvenient. It's a hassle. But when you have to do it, that's when you move to higher ground, right?
Right. Right.
So I believe
Hmm.
most people allow fear to be the excuse that's so commonly accepted when you don't have to change. Because I'll tell you right now, if I had to ask you, Chris, because you asked this question, are you afraid of fire? Right? I am, in a sense. If I see a blazing, burning building, brother, I'm not accepting the invitation, okay? I'll call 911 and let the fire department go handle that. But, they'll probably be here maybe in 3 to 6 minutes, possibly. But, those three little babies that you're so in love with, they're still upstairs. Where's the fear?
It's gone.
Gone. That's why I say it doesn't exist. Honestly, I don't know anybody that has a reason that's desperate bad enough that's going to be stopped by fear. So people who struggle with fear, I don't judge them. I would only
Hmm.
ask you, what are you
Right.
willing to die for?
Absolutely.
What changes do you want to see bad enough that you're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice? In that
Yes.
case, fear doesn't exist.
Love it. Love
Right.
it. All right. So you made the decision. You dispelled all your fear, or you turned that fear into courage, or whatever you want to say to the viewers.
Exactly.
There's been many failures along the way. Correct. Talk about one of maybe
Which
your
one?
biggest failure. Exactly. Let's talk about one of your biggest ones. And from that failure, what did you learn from it?
Oh, you guys are not going to like this. Some of you in the audience, you may not like this at all. You know, because when you're looking at activity-based failures, those are lessons, right?
Yes.
I
Hmm.
remember I taught myself computer code, how to, program. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things I am not good at in this life, but somehow God wired my brain in a numeric fashion. It makes me very tunnel vision sometimes, and that's not always a good thing. John has helped me a lot over the years just to learn how to sit back and be open-minded. Everybody doesn't think that way, Gary. They don't see it that way. Yeah, you could be right, but you got to look at the bigger picture. So tunnel
Hmm.
vision people are not really big picture people. We're very focused on the task in front of us, even though we may have an end goal in mind. So a failure is just a undeveloped skill.
Hmm.
It's not really a failure. It's a lesson you're in the process of learning. You only fail when you stop trying to develop the skill. So
Love it.
there are failures along the way, but the The physical failures or the things that you can go through physically, I don't see them as much. I won't get into the depth of what I'm going to tell you. I'll just drop this bomb because some of you need to realize you need to slow down sometimes. Okay, you are responsible for you.
Mm-hmm.
You came to this planet by yourself. You're going to leave this planet by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life, and I've seen many people make it, sometimes we marry an incompatible partner.
It happens.
That's true.
Man, that'll wreck your train if you
Mm-hmm.
can't fix it.
Yeah.
It's not about who's right or wrong or who's good or bad. I'll be fair and just say incompatible. Sometimes you
Yeah,
can work that out.
you're right.
But if you're a dreamer, and I'll call it that because I respect that term. I don't back down
Mm-hmm.
from it or cower from it. It is what it is. People can point fingers at it, but I still get to wake up whenever I want to in the day. They can point over here. I'm a dreamer. I'll be that
Mhm.
forever. I know what I
Yes.
am. I don't have an identity crisis at all. And some people are just more structured in how they choose to pursue their career path. And that can be an issue. So those are things that as an entrepreneur, you need to understand you're going to be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life if you're serious about it,
Right.
or you'll at least have that mentality for the rest of your life. A relationship is a journey. Ship is how you move from one destination to another. It's a ship. It represents a journey. A relationship is how you relate to the people you're traveling on the ship with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go east and they want to go west, you're going to have a hard time moving that boat forward, right?
Right.
So one of the key things that I would suggest to people, and if you haven't had these conversations with your spouse yet, if you're married, you need to backtrack and clear it up. Or if you're in the process of, dating or courting or maybe looking for someone lifelong, I don't care if you're a guy looking at a gal or a gal looking at a guy. How can two walk together lest they agree? That's what the Bible says, right? And I'm not a preacher. I'm not going to preach. I just learned that from the Bible. And I think it's a very good concept. How can two walk together lest they agree?
Yeah.
You may not have to agree with what I believe and what I want to do, but you have to at least be willing to give me the room to do it.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything else over my 20 plus years of being an entrepreneur that have derailed people from success more than that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care about the technical
That's
failures
powerful.
and the skills that are undeveloped because those are learned over time once you get back in the game anyway, or you continue to pursue what you're trying to get good at because you don't get rich till you get good, right? But I haven't seen anything derail a train more often than that, and it's really serious. That's why I'm throwing it out there. Okay.
Wow. No, I love
Yeah.
it. I mean, powerful. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure just about anybody in this viewership that listens to that comment will say,
Thank you. It matters.
spot on, spot on.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. What amazing answer. How did you wrap your head around that? Go back to the young Gary Simmonds.
Uh-huh.
What are maybe some of the resources that you tapped into or that you learned from? And again, like from our viewers' point of view, somebody who is not where you are, not where John or I is, where do they start? Where do they?
Okay, I'll make it concise.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't be hanging around negative people. There's a couple things here. Your association is going to make you who you are. When we were younger, our parents used to tell us, watch out who you hang out with because you're going to become just like them. Birds of a feather flock together. That doesn't change when you turn 18 or 21 or 30. It's still the same. You hang around with people with a pessimistic loser mentality. They don't have to agree with you or do what you do, but they better have a winning mentality. I don't care what they're pursuing.
Yeah.
Because the ones who don't, they're going to become your haters, right? They don't want to see you win. Trust me. They do not want to see you win. But the ones who have the same mentality for evolving and moving forward in life, it may not be that they're pursuing money. They may not be trying to get rich, but they just have a progressive mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You can cheer each other on. And that matters a lot. It really does. The second thing that I believe is really important is what comes out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. You're a universal being connected to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how people put that in a religious construct or a social or universal construct. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where human beings come from. Can I say that? But I guarantee you, we
Sure.
all come from the same place.
Mhm.
Uh huh. I guarantee
Yes.
you, we don't have to debate about what the source of humanity is. Was it a bang or did somebody create us and all that? I know what I believe, but that's my business.
Right.
Sure.
What I'm telling you all is regardless of what you believe, we're from the same origin. That means we're connected.
Yep.
We're connected to whatever source we came from.
I agree.
The creation can never be disconnected from the source.
Hmm.
So, in the universal world, in the world of creation, you speak, and those words have life. They attract things to you. You pull towards you what's coming out of your mouth because it's coming out of your heart. It's coming out of your mind, right? You cannot ever say negative things. If you're used to being pessimistic, oh, if it wasn't for any bad luck, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. People talk like that.
Oh, I know.
I've heard people close to me say that, and I go, whoa, whoa, you
Yep.
cannot. I don't care how you feel. You need to start reading and retraining your mind. You need a good brainwashing. But your
Right.
brain is dirty. You
Right.
don't believe that you're powerful. You don't believe that you're equal. You don't believe that you have a day in the spotlight. Every dog got a day for the sun to shine on their behind. And if I believe that, I can never hate on your success because I know mine is coming. You
Right.
have to control the words that are coming out of your mouth because they will negate your actions. The science of getting
Absolutely.
rich talks about doing things in a certain way. You can do the physical activities all you want. You can go through the routine and the mechanics of the to dos. Your to do list means nothing if you don't believe it's happening anyway.
Right.
And the last thing in wrapping up that question, like what's really the key factors to succeeding
Hmm.
is to be humble and get a mentor.
Yes.
You got to follow somebody. People be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Gary Simmons, you're this, you're that." I say, "Hey, I appreciate it." You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the compliment, but I can point to at least 2 to 3 people in my life that are major influences. I'm almost a copy of them. If you
Hmm.
ever saw how closely I followed these gentlemen,
Hmm.
I mean, I soak it up. Even when I was doing tech work, I didn't go to school for computer technology, but I was so good, I ended up starting my own business. There's a dude that used to sit next to me, Philip and Steven, they were really my first true onboarders because I was working in the mailroom when the IT manager came down and got me just because she liked my personality, and I remembered everybody's name when I passed out the mail. That's how I started in my IT career. She says, "I'm looking for a guy." HR guy was like, "I don't have anybody, but the guy in the mailroom, he seems teachable." She's like, "I know him. He remembers my name all the time, right?" They literally came and got me out of the mailroom and put me in IT.
Wow.
And Stephen and Philip
Awesome.
were my guys, my mentors next to me, and I always had a notebook. And I learned. And when I got to the next job doing that, I had a guy named Eunice. He went to school for many, many years, an Indian guy, really, really smart. I sat next to him. I would put people on hold and ask Eunice the question.
Hmm.
But the thing that I did that a lot of people didn't do, I wrote the answers down before I got back on the phone. So eventually, I never had to ask Eunice again. When I got involved in
Awesome.
the industry of direct selling or network marketing or even my advertising career outside of direct sales. There's a gentleman by the name of John, actually, that I met in Texas, and I can't even tell you. John actually made a tape. He recorded himself on tape doing a spiel, this pitch that we were supposed to do.
Hmm.
And guys, that was my morning prayer. I didn't have to be religious, and I don't knock people who do. I believe in the higher power. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I really do. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, and I don't believe I ever will be. Okay, but I don't have to have a incantation every morning. He already
Hmm.
knows my heart, and he knows what I'm thinking before I even say it. What I needed to do was learn what I wasn't connected to, which was a knowledge of how to be a good salesman on the streets of those companies that I was visiting. And so John was my Bible, and I put that tape on play and repeat. I burnt the track, but I guarantee you, when I walked in that door, matter of fact, that's it right there. See that? See that picture behind me? The white
Yeah.
Yeah.
frame? I didn't put that up for this call. It's always there. It's always there. And it's his agency, John Mills, out of Texas. And I was a
Wow.
salesman of the week every single week I was there. Because when I walked in that door, you didn't see me. You saw him. You
Hmm.
definitely didn't hear me. Because 100% of those words that came out of my mouth were from that cassette tape. I listened to it every single morning, day, even at night, in the shower, because I was desperate for success. I needed to
Hmm.
win. And you have to want it bad enough to not make excuses as to why you're not winning, because you are a winner. You just don't realize the level of intensity that you have to desire what you want. There's a level of the intensity of, Napoleon Hill calls it a burning desire.
Yep.
I had it so strong in me that I shut my mouth and opened my ears and took notes. And that man changed my life.
Love
He
it.
changed my life.
Amazing.
And then another gentleman by the name of Ron, which I've only met and shook his hand one time. I listened to that guy on cassette tape for 11 years. I have an education that'll blow your PhD off the wall. You got to I ain't never stepped foot in a college.
Yep.
Yep.
But I will
Yep.
blow your PhD off the wall. I've clocked a lot more hours in education than most people can clock, curriculum hours or whatever you call that stuff out
I
there.
agree.
I got time and grade, baby, as a
Yes.
student. And I listened to people who did it first at a much higher level than me.
Right.
And I've stayed in student mode and modeled that stuff for years. So people really, when they compliment me, they're complimenting, John and Ron. That's really what they're doing. And
I love
Eunice.
Love it. Love it. That leads me right into my next question. And,
All right.
it's important that we know where your knowledge came from. If there's viewers out here that are watching, is there a way or something that is similar? They may not be able to get exactly what you listened to for 11 years straight, but do you have a resource or resources that you could recommend to our viewers?
Absolutely, boss. Audible.com. Okay. That's like, it's simple. And you can get credits for audiobooks. Knowledge breeds confidence,
Yes.
and confidence breeds enthusiasm. I learned that from a guy named Dave that I listened to for many years. I could point to so many mentors. If you're not, man, go find somebody in your career path or your field. It ain't got to be me or anybody on this video, but find somebody who's kicking butt in what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Find out where they're having their conferences or conventions or meetings or networking events, and listen to them. Get
Yep.
that knowledge inside of you. When you're in your downtime, and like John said, when you're just listening to learn, I've found audible.com to be a modern and a current
love it.
resource that's really, really good.
I've got a subscription
stuff
every month.
from there. Tons of them.
Yeah.
But you got to be also careful too, because you can get information overload, which leads to decision constipation. You have too many
Right.
coaches in your ear at the same time.
Right. Right.
And so I would recommend, what I recommend to people personally is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
Okay.
And one of the things Wallace says on there is, you don't need to listen to any other material on success until you become successful from this one first, because it's an exact science and it's irrefutable if you follow the process.
Right.
Once you get to that level where you feel you're successful enough, then you can branch out into experimenting or taking risk and other things and listening to different types of teachers. But it's no different than being in a karate, being in a dojo. How many senseis are really going to impact that dojo? You got this guy he just really believes in the low kick. And you got this guy that believes in the high kick. And you'll be confused if you have too many people
Yes.
teaching you the path to success. There are a lot of ways, many ways to make $1 million. There's many ways to become successful, as there are many teams that play in the NFL football that are very successful championship teams. But I guarantee you, if you're listening to 3 or 4 different coaches in the NFL and you're a player, you'll be a loser.
Yep.
Because you'll be so confused when you're in a decision-making opportunity. You hear 4 sources of input at the same time. You won't know, hey, Coach John said go left. Coach Chris said go left. That's what I need to do. So automatic response, boom, you're going left. But
Right.
if these 4 different coaches have told you 4 different things, and you're in the middle of making a decision, you're going to be constipated.
You're right. That was
Awesome.
I wrote that down. I didn't have that book, so I'm gonna add that to my list.
Yeah, it's a great book.
I'm sure if you're on it, I'm on it. So we're wrapping now. We got 2 really good questions left.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, if you were on our side of the table, was there a question that we should have asked you that we didn't?
I can't say yes to that. I think your questions were very well thought out. I read them ahead of time.
I agree. Yeah, I would agree. I've gotten a lot
I
of
gave
it.
it some thought too. I'm like, no, these guys kind of covered everything. I mean, it's
No,
simple.
it's been, you've given us some gold, some nuggets there, and I really hope people take this
Yeah.
in, and I do hope people take some notes and watch this more than once if they need to.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of YouTube. You can watch it a whole bunch of
This
times.
video is going to be awesome. This channel is going to be huge, and people are going
I
to
hope
come back
so.
to this exact video someday and go, "Yep, I agree." Just watch
You know,
this.
I said to
Yep, I
John.
agree.
I said to John the other day, if we can, inspire one person a day or change somebody, make their afternoon a little brighter, they go back to work and they're thinking like, hey, this isn't for me. That's the goal. That's all
Yeah.
we hope for.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would definitely suggest anybody listening to this. None of us are superstars. I'm not for sure. Definitely not. These guys have the
Mhm.
courage to launch a YouTube channel. I thought about doing something like this maybe a couple of years ago, but why isn't it done?
Mm-hmm.
I already told you. I didn't want to do it bad enough. See, I'm focused on something else that I want to do bad enough, so that has
Sure.
my attention right now. There's
Mm-hmm.
no judgment, okay?
Right.
So whoever is doing it are the people who has it as a priority, and these kind of things are important. So what I want you to do, if you're listening, you need to tell your friend. Take a minute
Mm-hmm.
after every video that you listen to on this channel and think, who do I know that would love this message?
Yes.
And be a boss. Send them
Yeah.
a message by text and say, hey, I received a lot from this video on this channel. You might want to check it out and get them subscribed. You will never know who's at the point of giving it all up.
Yep.
Sometimes they're at the point of giving up their whole life.
Yeah.
And they've heard inspirational messages. They've heard people say you can make it.
Yep.
But sometimes different people relate to different people. It's like I've heard it before, but the way Chris just said it, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that hit me. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
inviting me.
For
Because I've
sure.
heard that before, but the way he spun it,
Yeah.
I get it. And I feel like I can go another day, at least one more day. So everybody that listens to these
That's it.
videos, make sure you invite people to check it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Before I ask the last question, Gary, I just
Sure.
want to tell everybody like the video today. Please subscribe and share it with your friends, just like Gary said. But Gary, I think you're going to like this last question,
Sure.
brother. What does time freedom mean to you?
That's it.
Man, I laugh at that because that is a loaded question, bro. It's almost undescribable, isn't it? It's a fantasy, right? It's the kind of stuff that I used to dream of when I was 24. And I mentioned it to my son today, my older son, and he's like, wow, Pop, you're right. I remember you saying that so many years ago. You know, what would it even be possible? Now, forget the money amount. The money amount really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know people that make millions of dollars that are stressed out. They're not free.
Right.
Okay? Money ain't freedom. But when you have time and money, you got some things working for you. Having too much free time isn't freedom either. Some people are like, well, I'm free. I get off work. I can do what I want to do for the rest of the evening. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's go hang out in Dubai for about 3 weeks. Or let's go on vacation with John next week and hang out in Mexico for a few days and see how much time freedom you really have.
Right. Right.
Time freedom isn't that valuable when you ain't got no money. And money freedom ain't that valuable when you ain't got no time. So there's a balance there, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it really means at the end of the day to me is getting up every day and actually doing what you choose to do without fearing being manipulated by people who want to control your actions different than what you want your actions to be. It really means you get a chance to learn who you are as a person and discover yourself and do what you want to do every day. You're going to end up finding out that you're a pretty great person, minus the stress that society puts on your life through all the demands of the what you have to do every day, the schedules that you didn't make for yourself. There's nothing wrong with having a very busy schedule. But when you don't make that schedule for yourself and you got to do it for the rent money or the mortgage
Yep.
money or the food money or the daycare money, you really have no clue what you're missing out when you don't have time and money freedom. It is the most unexplainable thing I think there is for me personally. You don't trade that for the world once you get it. Once you understand what residual
Absolutely.
income and passive income can do, you'll literally walk through a brick wall to get it and keep it.
Amen.
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 Love that.
Awesome. Gary, thanks for coming on today and being our inaugural interviewer. I
Ah, I
definitely,
feel honored.
yes. I couldn't think of a better person to have on, and you definitely. I mean, you just nailed it, and I'm sure that the viewers are going to really appreciate it.
Well, you
Yeah,
guys are
that
a
was
big part of my story too, man, and I appreciate the invitation. I
absolutely.
feel privileged. You know, I'm not big wigging anything. We're all wearing the same wigs. Well, I need a wig.
Yes.
Shit, tonight. Okay. But what's that saying you always say, John? By ourselves, we're a drop. Say it from.
Yep. I said individually we're a drop, but together we're an ocean.
That's life changing, guys. Remember that because you do nothing by yourself. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes,
There you
Appreciate you guys
go.
having me
absolutely,
on.
absolutely. Gary, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you a
That was
little
amazing,
later.
Gary.
Man.
Thanks
All
so
right,
much, man.
thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, brother.
Hi, buddy.
All right, bye.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think the viewers are going to enjoy that. And man, if they don't get 1, 2, 5, 16 nuggets out of that one, I don't know what we got to bring, man, because that was
I
fire.
agree. I agree. And if you guys did like that, like John said, do hit the like button. And that is our friend Gary, and we are all real people. If there's something that he touched on and you want us to reach out and find out a little more, don't be afraid to leave us a comment. And if you have suggestions, if you know somebody like that, let us know. Maybe we'll have them on. You never know.
Absolutely. Love it. All right, Chris, well, have a great day. And I will see you when I get back from Mexico for my birthday.
Yeah, don't have too much fun.
Oh, I will.
All
Time
right,
freedom,
see you guys.
baby.
We'll see you guys soon.